Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to Monday, our last Monday of the half term. You all have a well-deserved break next week. But for now, we're going to continue with our Climates and Biomes unit. Not Year 3, I should say Year 5. You're in Year 5, of course. And for today and tomorrow, we're going to finish off our Climates and Biomes unit before returning to our science on the first Monday back after half term. So well done to all of you for being so engaged in this unit. It can be quite tricky to learn at home, especially when you're not in school, but I really do praise your effort and commitment to it throughout the last few weeks, so well done. So let's get going with this lesson. So we're on lesson 3. It's Monday the 8th of February 2021. What are the challenges of biomes is our lesson. So if you'd like to pause the video here, please do. That is essentially your wall to that question, and if you want to write the Walton date onto your book, then pause the video here and do that. Okay, well done. So we're going to get going with our do now based on the last few weeks. Now this do now has been attached to your home learning document as well. If you'd like to print it out, there is no obligation to do that. Just as many of you have been doing, you can just simply write in the answers into your book and then we will review it in a few minutes. So pause the video here. Here's your do now. Go away and complete that, please. Right, fantastic. Let's have a look at the answers. Have a blue pen or a coloured pen or a pencil in hand ready to mark your work before uploading to Seesaw. So, which of the following is not a biome? And the answer to that was Sahara. Well done. Number 2. In which biome would you find the polar or subpolar climate? You would find that in the tundra biome. So take our fix for that. Number 3. True or false? Climates and biomes are different to one another. True. Yes, that was explained at the beginning of the last lesson, that climates is the pattern of weather over time, and biomes is where animals and plants with similar characteristics live. So well done, that was true. Okay, let's go back to our last unit, all the way back to the beginning of January. Which of these are 7 wonders of the ancient world? Tick 3. The Colossus at Rhodes is one, Pyramids of Giza, and the Temple of Artemis. Well done. And finally, throw back to last January and last February when you were in Year 4. Number 5. When magma reaches the Earth's surface, it is known as what? Crust, lava, magma, or tectonic. When magma hits the surface, it is lava. So well done. If you got all 5 correct, not to worry if you didn't, you learned from your errors. Make sure they're all marked now, so pause the video here if you need to mark any further, and then I look forward to seeing all your answers on Seesaw later on. Okay, let's get going with today's lesson. So we're looking at the challenges of biomes, and essentially we're looking at, is one biome better than another? And then we'll be discussing that as we go throughout the lesson. Then there's quite a bit to do in this lesson. We have 3 independent tasks. None of them take too long. They're all quite quick little short bursts to practice the knowledge that you have acquired. So let's get going. Firstly, before we go into the challenges of biomes and how it affects humans, we're going to look at biomes in Europe. Very quickly, we're going to have a quick look at this. So here's a map of Europe which has been divided or segregated and color-coded so that you can understand what biome is in each country. Now in a moment you'll be doing a task based on this, so it's quite important to listen here. So you can see here the light green colour would be the deciduous forest. So that would cover the UK as we spoke last week, cover Ireland, cover much of Central Europe here as well, and some of Scandinavia. So the deciduous forest would be that biome here, the light green colour, and also up here. Also, we have a darker green colour here, which is the boreal forest, and that would cover this area of Europe. Further north into Scandinavia would be the boreal forest. Not much of Europe, but kind of northern and northeastern Scandinavia. Then we come to the purple, or the pink, which was the chaparral, and that biome would cover down in more southern Europe, regions such as northern Italy, southern France, and parts of Spain. Also, Spain The grassland biome would be in Spain as well, the only country that it is in. And finally, the tundra biome would cover areas up here in Greenland. Okay, so they're the 5 different biomes and how they apply to countries of Europe. So our first task today is which countries have which biome. So I've also attached a map of Europe with the countries labeled so you can have a look at those. And I've also had the biomes map here, which is color coded for each biome. So your task is using the biome map, which is this, and the map of Europe, which is this, list 5 countries with their corresponding biome. So that means you need to find 5 countries and tell me the biome that is situated in that country. So I am going to model one for you. I'm going to take out my book and I will show you what we're going to do. So you can see here I have written down what are the challenges of biomes. That is my WALT, and I have my independent task 1 written down as well. So task 1 is for me to look at the map and to decide on 5 countries and their corresponding biome. I'm going to write number 1 here. I'm going to go to my map and I'm going to start with, right, because I'm Irish, I'm going to do Ireland as my first country. Ireland's biome is the deciduous forest biome. Okay, number 2. I'm going to pick something different to deciduous forest this time, and I'm going to look at Spain. So I have Spain here. I can see Spain there. Spain has a number of ones. Grassland biome. And it has another one. I can go and check it. Grassland biome and chaparral biome. So I've modeled 2. I went to my map and I looked at the countries of Europe. I then referred to my biomes map, which was color coded, and then I completed 2 for you. Now you have to do 5. Please don't copy my 2. I chose 2 quite unique ones. As Ireland, you choose the UK, pretty much the same answer, as it has the same biome, and then 4 more as well. So that is task 1. Lay it out on your sheet like that. Then pause the video and off you go. Take your time with this as long as you need. I'll be here when you unpause to continue the lesson. Right, excellent. Again, I look forward to seeing that in Seesaw. There's no right or wrong answer. There's more than one answer, so I look forward to marking those later on. Okay, let's continue on with the rest of the lesson. So we're looking at the challenges of biomes and essentially how does that affect humans and the way they live. We're looking at is one biome better than another? So we need to think about what do humans need to live successfully. So just a little talk task for yourself. You can have a little talk task with yourself in your head. You don't need to write anything down, but pause the video here and think about what do humans need to live successfully. Okay, I'm sure you have plenty of things in mind about how we need to live successfully. Let's have a look. Did you get any of my ones? So, of course, you need food sources. You need resources to build. You need space to build. You need a moderate temperature, so it can't be too hot and it can't be too cold. It has to be easy to travel. You have to be free from dangerous animals. You can't live in a place where there's wolves and bears knocking on your door every day. And it needs to be nutritious soil to grow crops. So these are the categories of successful living that everybody needs in order to be living successfully. So this is what we need to keep in mind as we go throughout the rest of the lesson, thinking about these things, especially food sources, being able to build, places to live, being able to move around, being free of danger, and being able to grow crops, or farmers being able to grow crops based on their soil. So this is all the factors needed for successful living. And does that apply to all biomes? I don't think so. So we're going to look and discuss at the biomes as we go through this lesson. Okay, so the first biome we're going to discuss, we're not going to discuss all of them today, we're going to handpick some of them and discuss the challenges. So the first biome I'm going to discuss is a boreal forest. So some of the challenges of a boreal forest would be very cold in winter. So that's not ideal for successful living if it gets extremely cold. There'd be limited open spaces. So what category of successful living do you think would be affected by having a limited open space? Yes, you wouldn't be able to build freely, you wouldn't have the space to be able to build. Also, it's quite shaded because of the density of the trees, so it'd be difficult to grow crops and food, and transport would be difficult too because of the limited space. So there's some of the challenges. We're not saying that a boreal forest is all bad, not at all, but we're saying that these are some of the challenges. Is that what we want to discuss today? So that's the boreal forest, some of the challenges that you might encounter. Another biome that we're going to discuss today is the chaparral biome. And what kind of challenges are here? Well, winter gets extremely wet, but summer is very dry. So we never want very, very wet weather, and we also never want very, very dry weather. So there are issues, there are challenges. People can still live here, animals can still live here, but it's not always ideal for successful living. Because there are no trees, it is difficult to build, so you wouldn't have the resources to build, and fires can also easily start because of the dry nature of the summers. It's like the chaparral, the chaparral biome being in Spain. You quite often hear of forest fires in the summers in Spain, and that would be because of that biome. Fires can easily start due to the dry nature of the ground and the lack of water in the summer. So I've discussed the challenges of a chaparral biome and the challenges of a boreal forest biome. Your second task is to try and make a list of the challenges, at least 3 challenges, of living in a deciduous forest biome and a desert biome. So again, I'm going to bring you over to my book and we're going to lay this out together just to help you. And we're looking at challenges of a deciduous forest biome and of a desert biome. So we're on to independent task 2. So I'll underline that. And this is up to you how you want to do this. I just don't want to draw a table and that might help. This is going to help me organize my thoughts. So I'm going to draw a table. You can just list them if you want, but maybe you like the idea of a table to keep your work neat and tidy. Then I'm going to draw a line down the middle, space for bullet points, space for bullet points, and a space for my title. So my title for this side, challenges of a deciduous forest. This side, challenges of a desert. Okay, so your job is to come up with 3 challenges per biome. So I've discussed 2 different biomes and challenges associated with them. What you need to keep in your head is what are the factors for successful living. We need resources, we need light, we need dry weather, and we need some rain to grow crops. Let's think about that now for a deciduous forest and a desert. So I'm going to model 1 challenge per biome, and then you're going to do the other 2 yourself. So challenges of a deciduous forest. Let's think. So because it's a forest, maybe lack of light, difficult to grow crops. And we don't need full sentences, we're just making bullet points. Information is key. You know, we don't need to fully worry about full sentences unless we're writing a paragraph. So there's a challenge of a deciduous forest. And you're going to write another couple. I'm going to think of a challenge of a desert. Okay, that's pretty easy. very hot, probably too hot. And another obvious challenge would be a lack of resources to build because it's wide open space. That would be a pro or an advantage of a deciduous forest, but right now we're just looking at challenges. So I've thought of a couple of challenges for a desert. I've thought of a challenge for deciduous forest. You need to pause the video here and in your book or on your piece of paper, complete further challenges of what you think might inhibit successful living in a deciduous forest and in a desert. So pause the video here and then unpause when you're ready to continue. Okay, great work. We've now done 2 of our tasks out of 3. So well done. Our third task is to discuss tundras and the grasslands. That's my model. In a moment, your task is going to be a desert versus a deciduous forest. Now, the reason I've chosen desert versus deciduous forest for you is because at this stage you should have come up with challenges for each, and you were going to simply put them into a paragraph and discuss the challenges of a deciduous forest versus a desert. My job is to discuss the challenges of a tundra versus grassland. So mine's slightly more different because I didn't have the time to come up with the challenges like you did in your box. But I'm going to model how to discuss 2 biomes and their challenges to successful living for humans, and then you are going to go away and do your own one based on task 2. So you will need task 2 if you're going to be able to do task 3. So if you have not completed task 2 now, go back and do that and then rejoin us for task 3. But everyone that's still with me, we are doing task 3. So once again, I will lay out my work really neatly. Go on to a new page because I know I'm not going to have enough room on that page. And I write independent task 3 and I underline it. So from task 2 you have gathered plenty of challenges of 2 different biomes which you'll be able to put into practice for our paragraph. Now as we're writing a paragraph, yes, we are going to have to write full sentences. So earlier on I gathered some information on grassland and tundra biomes and the challenges they pose to successful living. So I'm going to create a paragraph based around that. Now the language that I use is the language you can use when you're writing your own. So I'm going to open it up by saying both grassland and tundra biomes have many different challenges for successful living, as do all biomes. No biome is absolutely perfect for successful living. Each will encounter a challenge. That's why I've opened up my statement. Okay, now I'm going to discuss the tundra biome. A tundra biome is extremely cold, which suggests that food sources, I'm referring back to that slide that I talked about for successful living at all times, that is my barometer for how I'm writing, which suggests that food sources would be difficult to come by. However, there is plenty of space to build. So I've discussed the challenge, but I've also brought in one of the positives as well. As we know, biomes are not all bad whatsoever. I mean, like, we all live in a biome in the deciduous forest, and we all are able to live pretty successfully. Yes, there are challenges to it, but every biome has its pros and benefits as well. Now, I can link that quite cohesively to my other biome that I need to discuss, which is the tundra. Similarly, sorry, a grassland biome, my apologies. Similarly, a grassland biome would have plenty of space to build. Okay, so both biomes have plenty of space to build because they're open spaces. But we know it's far from the sea. It is far from the sea. It may be difficult to travel or have resources to build due to being in such a wide open space and having a lack of trees. Another point that I could make is it's quite dry in the grassland biome, which means very little rainfall, and that would not help crops grow either, or to make the soil nutritious for crops to grow for farmers either. So what I've done is I have now done independent task 3. I've modelled the challenges of a grassland and a tundra biome, and based on the challenges that I thought above for each. I also mentioned some of the benefits, which is absolutely fine if you want to discuss that in your answer, but really what you're trying to do is talk about the challenges of the different biomes and what inhibits successful living in those biomes. So this is what I've done. I've done the tundra versus grassland. Based now on task 2, your task 3 is to discuss the desert versus the deciduous forest biome. So that is your job to go away and write a paragraph like mine, discussing the challenges of a desert biome and a deciduous forest biome. Once you've uploaded all 3 tasks alongside your do now, so essentially with 4 tasks today in geography, plenty of work to be getting on with, I look forward to reading them all on Seesaw later, as I do every day. So I will see you tomorrow on Tuesday for our final lesson on biomes before the half term. So have a lovely Monday afternoon, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.